Am I the asshole for going missing after my crush and best friend started dating? A couple of years ago I had a crush on this girl since high school and never did anything, which I know is my own fault, but decided to shoot my shot with her. I got rejected and she ended up dating my best friend who knew I had a crush on her. Whenever they would hang out with our friend group they would do lots of PDA and stuff like that, which made me uncomfortable, and I hate to admit it, but I was jealous as well and at the time hated that they were together. Honestly, I was low-key a nice guy. I had nothing really going for me at the time either. I had a job, but it was a dead-end job with no real career goals and wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life, and I knew I had to make a change. One day I just couldn't stomach it anymore. I blocked them on everything, not just them but our mutual friends as well, deleted their numbers and just completely went off the grid, at least to them anyway. I applied to university and got into a paramedics course which I'm currently in my second year of. I moved to the city where uni was, and really my hometown is only a 75-minute train ride to the city, so not too far at all. And I really started to have a life of my own. I got into weight training, judo, and yoga, and it changed my life. Eventually, I met my now girlfriend in my paramedic course and she is amazing. I got pretty lucky. Anyway, with COVID, student housing got cancelled and my parents offered to let me move back in with them until it starts back up again, and I accepted. They said my girlfriend can come too since they like her. Me and my girlfriend were doing shopping for my parents. We were getting a pack of muffins for my dad and I saw them in the same aisle. I hoped they wouldn't see me, but they did. And they came up to me to start a conversation. The three of us said hi awkwardly and just made a bit of small talk, introduced them to my girlfriend, etc. And low-key hoped this would be over quickly. I said I was doing shopping for my parents and my former friend said, "Oh, so you didn't go missing on them either?" I kinda just did an awkward laugh and I said I was sorry for that, but I just needed my own space to think. He said that apology wasn't good enough and they were really freaking out, wondering what happened to me or if they offended me or something. They never asked my parents since when I was home I would tell my parents to cover for me if they came around. He said I was an asshole for what I did and that I was an asshole and that he hated me. My girlfriend asked what that was about and I told her the story here. She said it was a bit of an asshole move but understands my reasoning, but honestly removing them all was the best thing I did for my life and I don't think I did anything wrong. Am I the asshole?
Used to be what you did was called growing up and leaving home. Technology has changed a lot. Now you have to wonder if you are an asshole. It was ridiculous for these people to call you out and publicly. Not the asshole. One day I just couldn't stomach it anymore. I blocked them on everything, not just them but our mutual friends as well, deleted their numbers and just completely went off the grid, at least to them anyway. When I was home I would tell my parents to cover for me if they came around. You may not have considered them your friends, but they evidently cared about you, and I know they went out with each other, but that doesn't mean they didn't care about you. You must have caused them a lot of worry. Did you send any goodbye messages, or just disappear? Imagine if one of your new friends just vanished. Wouldn't you be concerned? You are the asshole, unless you actually said goodbye.
I go with Esh. They should not have called you out like they did, but dude, you disappeared on them without an explanation. For years they might not even have known if you are dead or alive. That is crappy. It would have been more mature to at least send one text before ceasing contact. Not saying it needed to an explanation, but stating that you would not talk with them anymore. About them flaunting their relationship in front of your face, I find it hard not to take it with a grain of salt here. But you came a long way. From a self-defined nice guy to someone who worked on himself and now and here is willing to think of the other side's feeling. That is awesome. Continue this path, and own to your mistakes. That's all we can do to become better humans. All of us.
I agree with the girlfriend that this is a bit of you are the asshole, but I wouldn't worry about it. Making the decision to go to school and move on with your life was certainly the right one, but completely severing yourself from, and blocking your friends with no warning is harsh and confusing. But to say that wasn't a good enough apology? Sorry, you moved on with your life and they aren't a part of it anymore. You needed space to work on you, but you shouldn't have just dropped off the face of earth to do so. Not the asshole. You needed the space. You weren't rude to them and you have turned your life around. But you could have let them know you were moving to the city and uni and so would need to be unavailable.
You are the asshole. Honestly shocked by all the NTA. You can decide to remove yourself from a friend group, but why did you go nuclear? Your friends thought something terrible happened to you. If that happens again, at least give everyone a heads up you need space and will be going no contact, like damn.
Not the asshole for removing yourself from a situation that was toxic for you. But I think not giving any explanation to your friends at all was an asshole move. Especially your mutual friends. They deserve to know why you distanced yourself. I think you could have handled the situation better by talking to your friends and explaining to them that the PDA made you uncomfortable. Maybe then you wouldn't have had to ghost them at all.
Leaving the situation and moving on with your life was the right thing to do. However, at the same time, you need to respect that your crush isn't someone you own. She has a right to choose whoever she wants, and your friend was obviously attracted to her too. Girls aren't property for you to claim. Things didn't work out your way. Jealousy is understandable, but you need to respect the desires of your friend and crush as well. If you really cared about either of them, you wouldn't have blocked them like that. You are the asshole. Nah, you did the right thing. Sometimes a total overhaul is necessary. However, just vanishing like you've been beamed up somewhere concerned your mutual friends. I think giving them a heads up back then would have been kind. Keep on truckin'.
Slight, you are the asshole. You had to do what was best for you at the time, and I'm super happy that everything worked out for you, but your friends deserved a heads up. But also, if this is your former best friend's reaction to finding out that you are okay, and doing amazing, maybe you should reconsider that relationship.
I get needing to get away, but you never really dealt with what you were going through. You just ran, leaving your friends worried sick. You were kind of cowardly. You're not an asshole for wanting to get away, but for leaving without a trace. That's why I'm voting you're the asshole. A simple, "Hey, I'm going through some stuff and need some space," text would have avoided a lot of this.
You are the asshole. Not for cutting them out of your life, but for not saying anything and disappearing. If you'd low-key just stopped responding to things without blocking them so they knew you were at least okay, that would have been fine. If you'd been upfront and said you needed time away, that would have been fine. It is an asshole move to just block them and disappear, although the needing space itself wasn't. You are the asshole. Those people were never your friends if you were willing to disappear like that. Even to the mutuals who did nothing to you. You are the asshole not for wanting some space or for feeling the need to start fresh. Glad you worked on yourself by the way, but for just disappearing and leaving your friends who obviously cared about you worried. What you did was cruel and harsh. It wouldn't have cost you anything to just say goodbye.
I'm sorry, but you are the asshole. You ghosted what you say was your best friend. That's not okay. It's not like you had a talk about it, and it's not like you knew he had ill intents. Honestly, for all we know, he asked out a girl he liked and she said yes, and they behaved like a normal couple. I can see why it would be hard on you, and I understand why you did what you did and respect you for improving yourself, but there was better ways to do it.
Soft, you are the asshole for ghosting on your old social circle without a word and enlisting your folks to lie for you. It's not exactly the actions of a good friend.
You are the asshole, not for blocking your best friend but for not telling your other friends who had nothing to do with the whole matter. If I was your friend and you just up and left with no reason and no explanation, I'd be heartbroken and wonder about you and your mental state. If you would have told me you needed space from everything and were leaving to better yourself, I would have been 100 on board. It was immature of you to do and you needed to do it, but you're still
Soft, you are the asshole. There's nothing wrong with wanting to change your life or even find a new social circle. However, vanishing and leaving your friends worried about you is not a great look. Similar thing happened to me recently with a friend of mine vanishing off the face of the planet. And another friend of mine decided to join the army without telling anyone and just vanished one day. I don't begrudge them doing whatever they feel like they need to do, but it's a bit of an asshole move to not give any consideration to the people that are going to be worried about them. It's stressful to have people you know just vanish and then spending time wondering if they're okay or not.
I'm gonna say dropping your friend group and not saying anything about why is a sucky thing to do. I'm sure it hurt them a decent bit. However, I understand you had reasoning, and I'm sure, with heartbreak like that, you weren't thinking straight either. You don't seem like a terrible person, just a hurt person with a couple sucky choices. You made a decision to cleanse your life of people who you thought were hurting you, and you made your life better out of it. Your former best friend's comments were unneeded, but I'm sure they came from hurt, too. The constant PDA in front of you, knowing how you felt, was also a pretty sucky thing to do. Honestly, just walk away and enjoy your life with your current GF. You had your reasons, and you're living a decent life now.
I think you are the asshole because it seems like you went Mia out of nowhere. It's totally fine to want to move on with your life, however I think you went about it the wrong way. You should have either gradually distanced yourself or explained to your friends that you needed space to move on. Yes, it would have been more difficult to do, but that's the mature thing to do. To disappear without any explanation when you had been good friends is kinda crappy. I get why you needed to leave, but your friends have a right to be mad at you when you did it the way you did. Not the asshole, with a bit of YTA, but hear me out, sometimes you have to do the seemingly asshole, selfish thing to choose yourself and move on with your life. Had you not 100% and unexpectedly, rudely cut them out of your life, you might have never 1. Moved away 2. Pursued your education 3. Focused on your career 4. Met your awesome partner. I liked X, you were my best friend and you also knew that. And yet you not only got together, but constantly made out right in my face. You didn't give a shit about me or how much you were actively hurting me. You were toxic for me to be around. So, I did what I had to do to move on and focus on myself. And I don't regret it. I lead a great life now. And then ask for those banana nut muffins behind them.
I'd say you are the asshole. This is simply for dropping off the grid with no communication. I'm just trying to put myself in your friend's shoes, and if one of my friends suddenly disappeared, you bet I'd be turning the entire world upside down, worried out of my mind. However, if my friend said that they needed space and said to not contact him, yeah, I'd be upset that I can't talk to my friend anymore, but at least I'm not being kept up at night thinking he could be dead. If you could just communicate a bit, the whole situation could be avoided.
Not the asshole. You weren't in a place to deal with it. So you made the right choice for your own mental health. I feel like technology has made it harder to do things like create distance when you need it. Before this, you'd just become busy and no one would think anything of it. Now, it's a why couldn't I see you on all the socials and groups? And why can't I message you on every app available? You did what you needed to protect your own feelings because right or wrong you still felt some kind of way about their relationship. Much better you removed yourself than make it their problem. Honestly, I think not the asshole. You could have explained first, but they knew you were alive, and that's all they needed to know.
Everyone sucks here. It sounds like how they got into a relationship really hurt you, and at least your best friend should have checked with you if you were okay. It sounds like you needed the distance, so you're not an asshole for leaving. But you do suck for not actually telling your friends what was bothering you, or at least giving them a heads up that you were leaving. Ghosting is shitty, and especially in your situation wasn't really justified. Of course your former friend would be pissed to just meet you casually shopping in your hometown.
You could have made some kind of public announcement that you're moving, just so the people you've spent years with don't think you're straight up dead. Having your parents continue the charade on your behalf is also questionable. On the other hand, attacking you in the supermarket for your apology not being good enough is asshole behavior from the others.
Not the asshole. Why the heck you'd need to be forced to be in situations that you felt uncomfortable? You moved on with your life. You are the asshole. Starting fresh and cutting ties is understandable. Sometimes you have to make the move, but you also punished people who cared about you by ghosting them because your life wasn't going the way you wanted it to go. I don't see anything in the post that indicates your friends and mutual friends were being unkind, but it sounds like you may have perceived their behavior as insensitive. Did you talk to your friend about how you felt? You are the asshole. Good for you for going to uni and bettering your life. But ghosting your entire friend group? What the fuck? There wasn't at least one person you could have just told the truth to. So that a group of people that cared about you didn't have to spend so much time worrying about you, wondering what happened. Would you like to be treated that way?
Minor, you are the asshole. The right thing to do would have been to tell them you needed to start a new life and move on from home. They obviously cared about what happened to you, even if you didn't care about them. They certainly aren't assholes for having a relationship and expressing it.
You are the asshole. A friend going off the grid and giving no explanation is very worrisome. My friend fell off the face of the planet for 2 years and I spent it filled with worry and imagining worst-case scenarios. Unfortunately in my situation it was a worst-case scenario and she had died and her family told no one. Those 2 years worrying were a truly horrible time.
My best friend of almost 40 years just cut me out last year. I still don't know what happened. I went out of town for a week and the day after I left, she blocked me and wouldn't pick up my calls. We met when I was 18 and she was 17. Married best friends. Even after our marriages were done, we saw and talked to each other multiple times a day. She occasionally calls to check on me but that is it. Doesn't answer if I call, so I don't anymore. I would love to know what I did to offend her. It had been over a year and I miss her as much as my late husband. We had a post-marriage life plan, travel etc. It really sucks.
I agree with your GF. Was it a bit asshole to just up and leave? Yes. But honestly if you're a better person for it now, I think it's water under the bridge. You guys have very different lives now. It is what it is. I'm very glad your mental health has improved since then. You were also a teenager so you did the impulsive teenage thing. Maybe if this had happened now you might have said hey I'm ready for something different and for me I need to start fresh. But at the same time, you may not have been able to make a clean break by telling them you need space. They have a right to be pissed, and hopefully now that they've said their piece, it's not a thing anymore. Y'all aren't friends anymore. Now they can accept that, too.
You are the asshole. I understand how you felt, but you handled it very immaturely. Not the asshole for removing yourself from a situation you were bothered by, but you are the asshole because you didn't even try talking to them about it or even saying goodbye.
Not the asshole. You made a decision that was best for you. I don't really think you owe anyone an apology. This is one of those tales as old as time type deals where love and dating in a friend group does damage to someone inevitably.
You are the asshole not for decided to move on and not talk to them but you could have sent out a group text being like, hey need some time for myself and my growth, I won't be contactable but I'm safe. I'm on a you are the asshole on this one. If you actually cared about your crush more than just as a crush, and as a friend, you wouldn't have written her and your literal best friend off and ghosted them. You deserve to be called out. That being said, you're an adult. Ghosting them was probably healthier for you in the end, but you still have to take account the consequences of your actions. YTA. You deserve to make the decision to cut them out of your life but they deserve a heads up. You may have caused countless nights of worry, fear and sadness. Don't make them keep guessing forever, just say goodbye.
You are the asshole. It's fine to decide to move on for your own mental health if being around your former boyfriend and his girlfriend were too much for you, but not explaining why and on top of that ghosting your entire friend group is such a dick move. I have a friend who did this to me. She ended up cutting me, and the rest of our friend group, off not because of anything we did in particular but because she moved in with 2 people in our friend group and they didn't get along as roommates. It's something I still remember because of how callous it was and it made me think a lot less of her as a person.
Of course you are the asshole. You ghosted your best friend, how wouldn't you be? They're also kinda rude for confronting you in a grocery store like that, but it's not really what the question is about.
So you recognized toxic behavior within yourself, distanced yourself from the group that was aggravating the toxic behavior, turned your life around for the better and they think YTA. Bruh. You don't owe jack poop to anyone. At all. Not the asshole.
Man, this is hard to choose. It sucks that you didn't get the girl then and I'm glad you got your life together in the end, but ghosting is not exactly a good friend thing. I'm gonna say everyone sucks here cause it's a shitty situation overall.
Info, do you actually want these people in your life that you're living now? Or is this like those are people I knew way back when?
You are the asshole. Cutting contact is fine. Making yourself appearing dead is a rather shitty way of doing it. To sit there, wondering what has happened to a friend, and the only way you have to find out is to contact family that might be grieving is genuinely harrowing.
Emo, you are the asshole. Although it turned out to be the best choice for you, you basically left people who cared about you without a single word. It's really rude and not caring for your best friend. You could have at least tell them that you needed time off and that you had to distance yourself from everything. Your girlfriend is right, it's an asshole move but understandable.
Absolutely, you are the asshole situation. Not a dire, you suck indefinitely, you didn't do anything else wrong except ghost your best friend. But you just can't do that and leave them hanging, thinking you are dead or something. It's sort of his duty to look around, figure out what the fuck happened. Nothing would have changed for you by saying, I need space, and then doing the blocking, but left them with much less grief.
Totally not the asshole. You made decisions that helped you heal your heart and recover, and helped you get on track with your life. Those decisions happened to not include them. Maybe you could have told them that you needed to take a break, but based on how they behaved around you when they started dating, they sound like the type of people who wouldn't respect the boundaries you set, and that would have sidetracked your progress. What is it that the young kids say? They can die mad about it. Keep flourishing. Thumbs up medium dark skin tone. You are the asshole. My then best friend did that to me, and I fell into depression because I kept thinking it was my fault. She even made our friends lie to me to hide. A few years later, she said she did it because she was jealous of me for no idea actually. I loved her more than myself and it completely destroyed my self-esteem and traumatized me. To this day I only kind of know why she threw away 12 years of friendship. Just tell them. You have no idea how much it hurts to have no idea what is going on. They might understand or even forgive you if tell them the truth, but if you keep lying your relationship is definitely not going to get better.
Nah, you did what was best for you and they aren't entitled to an explanation. At the same time, without leaving an explanation, they are free to treat you like a shitty friend, since from their POV, you are. Essentially, actions have consequences, take your lumps or apologize, whatever. You're an adult now, so time to make choices and deal with what happens after.
Soft, you are the asshole. You owed it to your friends to send them a message explaining your reasons before going no contact. You def could have handled it better, that said it's good that you turned your life around.